And opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Soul Care with your host, Lori Vasi, where healing meets the heart. This show dives into all things wellness, from holistic and spiritual healing to expert insights on health and self-care. Get ready for meaningful conversations, special guests, and inspiration for your journey to well-being. If you have any questions about home health care or want to continue the conversation, contact Lori today at 561-821-5811 or visit sunshinehomecareservices.com. Let's begin.
Welcome everyone to our Thursday radio show. It's such an honor to be back here to our Soul Care, our bi-weekly show where we are going to talk and develop lots of beautiful topics. We are going to invite a lot of beautiful people, including today our special guest. But we want to talk about Sunshine Home Care Services, the main reason why we are here. We are a non-medical home health care agency, and we are specialized in over 39 different services. But beyond that, we believe that more than physical care is the soul care, is the beautiful presence in the house that changes lives, and hence the reason we are having this radio show, to inspire you and to bring beautiful people along. We have Anna today, who is my co-host, and as well, she is a new member of our team, and she is in charge with the business development, and I'm honored to host today's show with her.
Thank you so much, Lori. I really appreciate that, and I'm honored to welcome our guest, David G. Wolf, to the show. He's a well-respected leader and educator known for his long-term work in AI and quality improvement. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Wolf.
It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Amazing. Dr. David, we would love to hear, we listened to your beautiful wisdom, and we got so inspired, and we were, as always, we were always nervous to come live, and the intro and the beautiful connection before the show was unbelievable, and we want to hear a little bit about yourself and what made you do what you do today, because I know education is so inspiring and making a difference, same as passionate as I am for seniors and what I've done. I've been in education, hospitality, and I have so much in common with you, and I'm so honored, but I believe that hospitality comes from the heart. So is healthcare, so is senior care, and I would love to hear from you. What made you switch to education?
Thank you. Well, for the first 25 years of my career, I owned and operated my own 180-bed skilled nursing facility in southern New Jersey, and the facility was doing extremely well, and we decided that we were going to add services. So instead of adding typical services, we decided to add subacute services. So we had a 16-bed ventilator unit, a 16-bed traumatic brain injury unit, we had a 16-bed cardiac unit, and the company did very well, and we decided to keep growing. So I purchased land directly across the street from the nursing home, and I built a 100,000 square foot assisted living facility, and that is still there today. And
so the facility is still a nursing home? It's still
the nursing home is still there in southern New Jersey, and so is the assisted living. They're both there. And in addition to that, when we added all of the subacute care, we added a 50-bed subacute rehab unit. So with subacute rehab, as you know, most of the residents in the facility are only there for 20 days that Medicare A pays for in a skilled nursing facility. And then they go home. So we were discharging our patients to home care out of our facility. With our 50-bed unit and how popular it was, we ended up admitting and discharging 1,000 patients a year. And the home care companies started calling me saying, stop referring. We don't have enough people to take care of it.
Wow.
When I heard that
is remarkable.
I decided we need to start our own. And that's where the idea came. So the subacute rehab unit was called STAR, Specialized Therapy and Rehabilitation. we decided to create a home care agency called Star Care, which is specialized therapy and rehabilitation at home. And the next thing we knew, we had 100 nurses in our Medicare certified home health care agency and did really well. And then I got contacted by a gentleman that owned a huge company nationally, and I sold the company and decided it was time to go back to school, get a master's degree, get my PhD, and teach the next generation of healthcare leaders. And that's what I'm doing now.
I'm telling you, we are very inspired by everything you do and how you
Thank
blended in everything, everything you have done and all your experiences is just so remarkable.
Thank you.
So we wanted to know if you believe that there's anything that makes a home care agency truly. What do you believe makes a home agency truly exceptional? Are there certain standards or values that stand out to you?
There are. Great question. From my perspective, I look at this like a wagon wheel with spokes. And there are 7 spokes for home care success to make it stand out, in my opinion. Number 1 is having a very client-centered approach. Not a business approach, a client-centered approach, a patient care approach. The idea now today with artificial intelligence, we are able to do things in home care that we could never do before. Things like personalized care plans that are very specific to that particular patient. Client involvement, having the clients involved in their own care, because people today are much more savvy about their own care, and they are much more knowledgeable because of the internet and because of AI. They can look up things themselves. So we have to be on top of that. And then matching the right caregiver with the right client is always important.
The most important thing.
Pardon me?
The most important thing.
Always, because we would always have issues where we would place somebody and then a day later we'd get a call saying this isn't working and we'd have to put somebody else, and it was a big part.
It never works out the first time.
Of
It never
course not.
works out the second time. Maybe we get it right the third time, but now
Maybe.
we use AI.
Exactly. So the second thing is having, obviously, you want high quality, compassionate caregivers. You want people that care, not just getting a job and getting a paycheck, but they believe this is a calling for them. And these people that are doing the caregiving, they can work anywhere. They can go to McDonald's and work, but those people that want to take care of somebody else, it's truly a calling. And those are the people that I always try and target to make employees, because they end up becoming the best employees we have and the longest. Next, you have to be flexible and comprehensive in what you're offering. It can't be piecemeal. You have to look at the whole patient and what their needs are and be able to handle their needs, because that's what we do. Next is open communication with the patient and or family, and we're seeing that changing dramatically due to AI. Commitment to quality and safety, having very ethical and transparent practices is important from a business perspective, and then being involved in the community as a home care company is what made me successful. We were very involved in our local Chamber of Commerce. We were involved in any type of health fair, and that's how we built our brand, and people started knowing who we were.
This is amazing. How inspiring. And these are the 7 points that the one that triggered me the most is the one that how do you train and how the capabilities of the caregivers. And of course, the biggest challenge is finding the right people and finding the caregivers that actually care.
Absolutely.
That actually. So do you believe that training, having something, an involvement, AI involvement will be making a difference in sustainability of the caregivers, and how do you see this for a small agency making it happen?
Well, it's easy to make it happen because right now AI is very available and you can get free versions of different platforms, whether you're using ChatGPT from OpenAI or you use Copilot from Microsoft or Perplexity or Claude from Anthropic. There's plenty of platforms to be able to go in and do things. One of the easiest things to create with AI is a training program. Very easy to do. And you can customize it to the person and to your business and make very customizable training programs. And the research is showing that the more customized the program is, to the person and the business, the more likely that person will stay with the company a long period of time.
I just got an idea for Anna.
There you go.
So from your experiences, what are some of the biggest challenges facing home health care providers today?
It's a great question. And there
those
are, of course there are.
I will be a sponge for this question.
Well, the way I look at it, there's 6 big challenges that we're dealing with. Number one, caregiver shortages and retention issues. Ever since COVID, the entire healthcare continuum, hospitals, nursing home, home care, physician clinic, we just don't have enough employees. There's just not enough people. So the question is, how do we get them? How do we find the people that create a calling for themselves based on a personal experience that this is the work they want to do? It's not easy to do, so you have to create a campaign to find them. Next is constantly rising operational costs. It's always expensive. It is. And if
hidden charges.
Unfortunately, with the expense, a lot of people can't afford it, as you know. Even in my company, which was a certified Medicare company, unfortunately, it only pays so much. And then what do you do when the person still needs care and they can't afford it? It's always a problem with costs. Next, unfortunately, we are in an industry that is highly regulated. Highly regulated. Understandably so. We're taking care of patients, but the nursing home industry, which many people don't know, the skilled nursing industry, is the second most highly regulated industry in the United States, right behind nuclear energy and right in front of banking, because people live there. Yeah, most people didn't know that. So we're living in a very highly regulated industry, very low reimbursement that's always being caught, high operational costs, not enough employees. You can see.
Well, when I started the business, for a second, I thought, it's in my mind. When I put the plan together, it's like, hold on, I'm gonna this, I'm gonna do that. That for my math, did so much perfect. It was such a good sense until it didn't.
Right.
And then wait a minute, there's nothing in this world that shines in my industry.
It is not an easy
It's
industry.
a tough one,
It
for
really
sure.
is. We also have problems with giving adequate training, and that's where AI can absolutely help by creating a training plan. We're seeing with every new generation of workers, bigger communication gaps between the worker and the client. That's a big problem,
It is a big
especially
problem.
when the clients are geriatric, which most are. So as you know, we have this silver tsunami, what they call. The baby boomers from World War II are now turning 80. And they need care. And the gap in communication between an 80-year-old and an 18-year-old is significant. And
the mentality is so different, and it is incredible. I don't know if you have seen life, what's going on. It's incredible. I can write a book over an hour.
I bet.
When I see an 18-paired, and there are lots of beautiful caregivers that they're very young, just starting nursing school, and they want to.
Sure.
And it is incredible to watch the pairment and the pairing
Yeah.
emotions
And trying to get it right the first time is hard. It's very hard, that pairing. So I understand.
Anna is going with the next question.
Yes. How can home care services better support family members who are aging and?
Well, that's a good question. Again, I'm going to go back to the idea of using artificial intelligence here. Artificial intelligence allows now to have something called predictive analytics and personalized care. So things like before, when we would have to be reactionary, somebody has a fall, we have to react to that patient falling. What do? Now, with predictive analytics, we can predict with a probability percentage that that patient is going to fall before you ever get them as a client. AI can look at their entire medical history and tell you with a percentage probability whether they're going to fall. And that is becoming the new standard in healthcare. Instead of reacting, we want to be preventative. If somebody is on a particular medication that they are likely to fall, we have to deal with that. Don't just say, well, they need to be on the medication, they might fall, we'll deal with that. No, we want to prevent the fall because the fall is traumatic to the patient and it's very costly to the system, to the entire healthcare system.
So can can AI trigger and like identify with the side effects of the medication they're on, or
Absolutely, because AI goes out into the world and pulls all the world's knowledge. Every single medication that's ever been invented is in AI. So when a doctor writes a prescription, AI can look at that and stop it and say, wait a minute, are you aware they are also on this medication? You still want to refer this? Nobody does that now. The doctor does it on their own. They have to look on their own app on their phone to say, can I prescribe this to this patient? With AI, it's like a fail-safe. After they prescribe it, AI looks at the entire treatment plan and says, nope, I have a problem with this, and explains why they have a problem. Then you go back to the doctor and say, here's what we're seeing, what do you think? That is a
So
completely new way of doing
interesting.
things. Plus,
I have a feeling me and you will never get sick.
plus today, there are sensors that can be put in the walls everywhere to determine how a patient is doing. So for example, they now have toilet seats with sensors in, and that toilet seat knows the difference of you getting up or somebody sliding off and falling. As soon as they slide off and fall, it calls 911.
Are the Japanese the one that invented it?
Absolutely. Yes, Samsung, actually Korean,
I love
Samsung.
Korea, yes,
Yeah.
or Japan. I love them.
So and Japan has done amazing things with social isolation at home, that they now have robots that look like the patient's family.
We're going to take a short break,
Okay.
and we'll be right back with more questions and more interesting topics. Thank you so much.
Very best in home care. At Sunshine Home Care Services, our mission is simple yet profound: to support and enhance the lives of our clients. We genuinely enhance the quality of life and offer a comprehensive suite of 26 services tailored to meet every need. We go beyond the basics with health monitoring, emotional support, pet care, and home safety checks. Sunshine Home Care Services is more than just a service. It's a partnership in care. We invite you to experience the difference a compassionate team can make. For a personal consultation, call us today at 561-821-5811.
Do you want the opportunity to have a TV show or podcast? Now, at Amp Media Productions, you can host your very own visual broadcast anywhere around the world. With our talented group of creators, we will provide you with show elements, board operations, and any on-screen visuals you'd like to showcase. All you must do is log onto your computer and communicate with your viewers. Contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422 or email hello@amp2.tv to start your own show today.
Welcome back to Soul Care with Lori Vasi, where we explore the power of healing, mind, body, and soul. If you have any questions about home health care or want to continue the conversation, contact Lori today at 561-821-5811 or visit sunshinehomecareservices.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Thank you for having us back. We are having a blast here with Dr. David. It's not only we are inspired, we feel so educated today and beyond grateful and happy to have you, Doctor. Seriously, it's an honor.
It is my pleasure.
We
to
are
be
going to continue with a couple. Sorry, I interrupted you. We are going to continue with a great topic. We spoke about the caregivers.
Sure.
We spoke about the shortage. We spoke about a couple of things that they are the challenges that we have. We would like to talk about the support and compassionate leadership. And my question, in your opinion, how can home care agencies balance compassion with efficiency in workplace such as personal spaces?
Another great question. So when we're looking at the caregivers, in my opinion, as a business owner and leader, we have to understand that caregiving is extremely emotional and physical job. It's not like working at McDonald's where you're just handing out food and you don't worry about it. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. Because of that responsibility, I think it's up to the leaders of companies to support those caregivers with those issues, whether they are psychological issues, emotional issues, psychosocial issues, or physical issues that caregivers are dealing with. For example, When you send a caregiver into a home and you find out that you have a clinically obese patient, it may not be safe for that single caregiver to try and lift a patient that says, oh, I need some help getting over to the, and all of a sudden now the caregiver gets hurt.
She is in the situation that she cannot say no, and she will be hurt.
And she'll be alone, and she'll try and do it, and she'll get hurt. So to me, it's up to the business owner or the leader of the company to teach that person, if this is the situation, you need to stop and think about what are our company protocols to deal with this, instead of just trying to be nice and end up hurting yourself. So that's one way to support people. Another one is offering them some type of mindfulness activity, whether it's meditation, quietness, something when the heat of the day or is over and they're done all their visits and they're exhausted, to give them some type of exercises to help them feel better. The goal for me is that when my employees wake up the next morning, they can't wait to get out to the next client. If they wake up unhappy because yesterday they were exhausted, they were sent to extra clients because we're working short, all these different issues, you're going to lose them. They're going to burn out and you're going to lose them. So there are many different ways to offer them caregiving, and there's very inexpensive ways to do it as well.
I love the answer, because it's also not only dedication from the management and from the ownership, it is also consistency in supporting them. It is so easy to get carried away and not being repetitive in conversation, in meditation. It is a discipline, and it's so important to follow up with the caregivers. And this was a beautiful answer, because I feel sometimes, like, for instance, we have a live-in and things are going fantastic. It's the hardest job, I believe. Oh. Being a caregiver is the hardest job, and being 24/7, even though they don't work 24/7, they are 24/7 living with a client and following up and ensuring that practices are followed and support is given whenever they don't expect to have it. Yes. It is so important.
Agreed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wolf. Thank you so much, Lori. What's one thing that you wish that people understood about home health care and the impact on the healthcare system as a whole?
Excellent question. Wow. Every one of these questions has been excellent tonight. I think the biggest thing that I would want people to understand is that this industry, home care, has a profound impact on people's lives. This isn't like working at McDonald's where you give them a hamburger, they walk away, and you're done. This is having an effect on their lives, on their dignity, on their autonomy. And it's important that they are able to stay at home to keep that. It is very well documented that staying in hospitals has risk, high risk, infection, falls, all types of issues. You are better off at home in your home environment where you feel comfortable. And I think people need to understand the future of healthcare is going to be more and more home care. And we are seeing new models today. Hospital at home, nursing home at home. We're seeing these new models. They're trying because we know it is safer and better for the patient to stay at home than to be institutionalized.
This is such an interesting topic, and I've been looking forward to hear your answer. How do you see the conversation happening with the seniors and the seniors' families about making them understand how important it is to keep the seniors in their home?
I think the senior knows. It's the family that's the problem.
That's the problem.
And I have dealt with this, again, because I was fortunate enough to own a nursing home and the home care and then assisted living. We were able to see patients that were in our system going to different levels of care. Home care was always the best answer, always. The others are necessary. You need institutional care. We need nursing homes. We need assisted living facilities, mostly because the costs of taking care of people in a large setting is much less than one-on-one. However, one-on-one at home is much better for the patient. And we all know that. So we try everything we can to keep that patient at home first before institutionalizing them. They're happier, the family ends up happier, okay? And it ends up being a better situation for everyone involved.
Plus, you have the concierge 24/7 personalized care.
Exactly.
For myself, I answer all the calls. I am 24/7 available for the clients. We have 1 minute to go, and I had to mention it because I have a beautiful question that I want to close up with. You've worn many hats: educator, entrepreneur, researcher. What drives your passion? And it's all about the passion, and I want to hear you out so loudly, because I feel some days, it's passion what drove me, and it's keeping me going as a spiritual healer, as an educator, as a business owner, which I'm so delighted. But there are those days. What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
For me, although I have a PhD and I am an educator, I am also a licensed nursing home administrator, a licensed assisted living administrator, and a licensed administrator of subacute care. And from my perspective, there is no higher calling than taking care of someone that can't take care of themselves. And that's what drives me. It drives my research. It drives my teaching. It's what makes me as passionate as I am, which I hope you could see tonight.
I got goosebumps. Literally I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dr. David, for joining us, and I hope it's not going to be the last time. I hope we're going to collaborate more and talk more. There are so many more topics and more questions that I had, but unfortunately we ran out of time, and we are going to see you back here in 2 weeks at 7:30 with Lori Soul Care. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for watching this episode of Soul Care. We hope today's conversation inspired you on your path to healing and wellness. Remember, true well-being starts from within. If you have any questions about home health care or want to continue the conversation, contact Lori today at 561-821-5811 or visit sunshinehomecareservices.com. Until next time, take care of yourself.